All right, here we go. Wow, I mean, it's almost chaos in the markets yesterday. The CPI data was released. At first, markets reacted positively. Then they were selling off. And then, wow, what a rebound yesterday. I mean, if you blinked yesterday, you missed it. Today, more drama coming in. PPI data, the producer price index, coming in higher than expected. Unemployment data coming in higher than expected. So, what are the markets doing right now? What's happening here? And I mean, how can we make sense of this chaos? That's what we're going to look at today. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Markus and Morgan. Today is Thursday, September 12th. And in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. I mean, Mark, look at this. It looks almost a little bit harmless on the daily chart because if you look at the S&P 500, it just says that yesterday we were up 1%. But that's not telling the whole story.
Exactly. I mean, 1% is impressive, but what a roller coaster ride yesterday. I mean, we started the session, it was a little bit muted, and then instantly we're just selling off, and that selling continued and continued. And before you knew it, the S&P was down almost 1.5%.
Yeah, I actually bring up here 5-minute chart of the E-mini S&P because I think that this tells the story a little bit better. If you look at this, so we had the CPI data yesterday being released, and I should probably switch to a bigger pan that we see it. And then initially it dipped. That here is a dip of 0.5 percentage point, right? I mean, that's kind of a significant dip. After this,
Sure.
markets were shaking it off, and we were going higher into the open. Right here, we had the open, and then, as yet, it was just selling off. I mean, kind of like, I don't want to say like crazy, but I mean, there was no bottom inside. I mean, we see the selling this lasted for what, an hour and a half or something like this. Let's just see how many bars we have around. Yeah, an hour, 20 minutes, an hour and a half. And I mean, we were down at some point, what, 1.7% that the markets dropped. And then look at this, a sharp reversal out of nowhere. And this reversal actually lasted for the remainder of the day. And this is 2.8% in the S&P 500. I mean, this is crazy. And if you look at the mini Nasdaq, I mean, even more. I mean, this is where we rallied 4% from the highs to the lows. Holy cannoli.
That that's huge, and it really just appears to be a buy the dip. Let's take advantage of this drop type situation that accelerated and just a big reversal.
A huge, huge reversal. Completely unexpected. And this is when, if you blinked yesterday, you missed it. And I mean, it all was kind of led by NVIDIA again. I mean, if you look at this, it's one of the largest companies in America in terms of market cap. Only Apple and Microsoft are larger, and NVIDIA and Microsoft are battling it out for place number 2 here. And NVIDIA yesterday opening higher and then just up, up and away. If you look at a daily chart, we saw that yesterday NVIDIA rallied 8.15%.
Another big move for NVIDIA after a little bit of a pullback following earnings, but definitely leading the way yesterday.
Yeah. So this is where we saw overall in tech stocks. I mean, yesterday, AVGO, Broadcom also rallying. Yesterday, up, 6.8%. Today, taking on another 4%. And I mean, this is where overall, if you look at the heat map today, we see it's a little bit more of a mix, but I mean, Broadcom and NVIDIA still striving higher. So is Google and Meta with 1.7% for Google and 1.4% for Meta and Facebook.
Yeah, look at that. Look
Yeah.
at that.
And if you go back to a daily chart of the S&P 500, there we go. And just like this, we're above the 50-day moving average again. One day makes all the difference. And here we are.
Yeah, and Although it's been a little bit quiet compared to yesterday and a little choppy, S&P now positive for the trading session, making a move up towards session highs. So we'll see if there's a little bit of follow through. But so far in the morning, it's been a little bit back and forth. And I mean, that could be expected after just such a huge day like we had yesterday.
And again, on a daily chart, it doesn't look that huge, but if you zoom in on a 5 minute chart, it was a huge, massive day. Now, yesterday, it was all based on the CPI, the core inflation index, or the consumer price index here. Today, we had more reports. We had the PPI being released as well as unemployment claims. And this happened an hour before the markets opened.
Yeah, and looking at the reports, I mean, this is where they're not that great, but not enough to send the market in a tailspin as well. Core PPI came in a little bit higher, so the PPI reading itself up a tick at 0.2%. Core PPI uh, up 0.3% versus a 0.2% forecast. CPI is usually the more significant number that traders look at. And, that's where we had that reaction yesterday. PPI showing that prices are increasing a little bit. And I think that just locks in a quarter point cut for the Fed, which basically was already the news after yesterday's CPI data. But this doesn't say half point is on the table.
No, exactly. And I mean, this is where if you look at the probabilities right now, and you're absolutely right, it seems that right now we are locked in an 87% probability of a quarter percent cut next week when the Fed meeting is. It's only 6 days from now. Look at this, 6 days, 2 hours, 53 minutes. And the probabilities of a half a percentage cut are just getting lower and lower. We had some more data this morning. We also had the unemployment claims, and the unemployment claims are not shocking. I mean, they came in a little bit higher than expected, but kind of in line what we saw in the previous months, kind of in line with what was expected. So previous months, 228,000, expected 227,000, came in this morning at 230,000, so slightly higher. But this basically shows, okay, the jobs market, there's not the bottom falling out of the jobs market.
True. So true.
True. Okay. What else? We had some earnings this morning. We had Kroger reporting earnings. And look at this. Kroger, holy cannoli, up 6.4% after reporting better than expected earnings. Sales kind of disappointing, but it seems that overall traders are liking what Kroger had to say this morning.
I mean, you can't say anything other than that based on that move.
For sure, for sure. All right. What else? Let's take a look very quickly at the VIX because also yesterday we saw the huge VIX volatility spike. Actually, this is yesterday. There we go. So yesterday, going above 21. Where are we? Right here, like 21.30, and then pulling back all the way below 17. So this is the fear index right now. Around the unchanged mark from yesterday, trading at 17.8. Now, one of the things that we pay attention to right now is also crude oil because we do have two positions that are tied to the crude oil, I mean, energy and gas. So, crude oil this morning up 3%. And is this, Mark, based on any news or is it just buying the dip here as well?
Honestly, I didn't see something. Not to say that there isn't some news there, but I didn't see something that stood out to attribute to the move higher.
Yeah. Anyhow, hey, a 3% move in crude oil. We'll take a look at how it affects our positions here in a moment. But we need to keep an eye on gold. Gold is just sneaking higher, and nobody notices that this morning gold is trading again at a new all time high. Right now, trading at $2,581.
Yeah, I mean, interesting to see this make that move, and I mean the dollar index is down a little bit, so with a weaker dollar, gold tends to move higher. But even the move in the dollar index isn't substantial, so gold just on the run.
Gold on the run. All right. Let's take a look at our positions and let's see if our positions are on the run with yesterday's massive rally. We have no new trades for WTF, the win the fear strategy, because, I mean, fear has left the building yesterday. At first, it was there, then it has left. We do have two open positions. The first one, BKR, Baker Hughes, this morning. Pushing higher right now, up 1.5%, and therefore trading above our entry, slightly up here.
Yeah, nice to see it snap back after a little bit of a drop yesterday, and now just keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And then also GM, General Motors, this morning having a great day, 2.4% up. Nicely trading above our entry. We entered at 44.69. Right now we are trading at 45.75. So approximately $1 above our entry. We'll see if we get an exit signal tomorrow, but this here is exactly what we are looking for. An exaggerated move to the downside. And this is when we step in, we win the fear, WTF, and then we want to see kind of this V-shaped recovery here. Exactly what we saw in Broadcom that we took last week, exactly what we see here in GM. These are the trades that we are looking for.
Exactly. 2.4% in 2 days works for me.
Absolutely. All right, hopping over to the wheel and looking at our positions there. So first up, CSIQ. CSIQ, gosh, what a day for CSIQ yesterday. I mean, finishing higher 11.8%. So we only need, 10, 12 more days like this, and then we will be able to sell calls against our position. Today, a little bit of a follow through. I mean, I'll take it. 0.7% right now. So come on, buddy. Let's keep higher. Let's break through the 14 handle. Right now, trading at 13.94 and very, very close to breaking through the 14 mark. So, all right. Works for us.
Oh yeah, I'll take 12% gains in CSIQ any day.
Yeah. Let's do it again today. All right, BP, a stock that or a position that you are in, also doing great this morning, up 0.75%. So seems that the downfall here in BP has stopped a little bit. You're happy with this?
Yeah, of course I want to see a little more upside, but nice to see. It appears as though we found some support in 31, turned around, and moving crude oil helping things out a bit too.
Yeah. HAL Halliburton. I mean, Halliburton not yet catching a break. I mean, we got assigned at 34.50, my break even, just shy of 32. Right now, trading around 28. Still down for the day, which is a little bit surprising, even though crude oil is up. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Definitely want to make sure that we are finding a bottom and then bouncing back so that we can sell calls against our existing position again.
Yeah, I mean this is unfortunate, but we know that we can see moves like this, especially in commodity related stocks, and just need to see a little more of a move in crude oil to the upside to help this one out.
Yeah. Talking about moves, I mean, yesterday, Coles, after paying a dividend, a very generous dividend, I mean, as you can see, a 10.6% dividend yield. So I'll take this. Today, slightly down, but it seems that it has found some support at 19. I sold my position. My cost base is 21.50. At 20.37 is my break even. So I need to push a little bit higher, but I'm okay with this. It seems that the 19 level here holds really, really nicely as support.
Looks good.
Looking good. Talking about looking good. Merck. I mean, Merck is just doing its own thing. I mean, the overall market, like Merck is like, what? I mean, I'm not part of this market here. So Merck today up 0.2%. Yesterday slightly down. So as you can see, right now trading around my break even. I got assigned at 120. My break even at 115.47. Right now trading right around 115. Nothing for me to do, but it's good to see Merck moving higher again today. All right, and then we have our buddy UPS. UPS. I mean, will UPS ever break out of this range between 124 and 132? It just has been in this range for what, 2 months right now?
It's gonna break, and when it does, it could be a decent move, and I'm just rooting for that upside move.
Yeah. And again, I mean, double-edged sword. On the one hand, we are interested in flying a rescue mission at 125. Right now, the 126 is available. So if we push a little bit lower, we're looking at a possible rescue mission here. If it pushes higher, we'll be happy with this as well. So let me just point 3 arrows up just in case and a small arrow down because we would be okay with this. But the preferred scenario is up, up, and away.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do this. All right, fantastic. Well, we'll take a look at the overall market and see what we are doing here right now. We haven't really looked at the S&P on a 5-minute chart. And before we do this, it is the time of the day for our dad jokes. And after yesterday chasing the bottom, come on, Mark. Let's try. Let's do some good ones. Give our viewers a chuckle here.
Well, I was thinking, Marcus, and you know why I don't tell jokes about German sausage?
No.
They're the worst.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll give you that one. Good. Okay. All right. Here's mine. See, when my kids were younger, they asked, Dad, can trees poop? And I said, of course trees can poop. What do you think where the number 2 pencils are coming from?
Okay. I think we're stepping up our game a little bit here.
I think. Hope that you're getting a little bit of chuckle out of this and going back to the markets and seeing what's happening right now. I mean, Mark, you mentioned it in the beginning of the session. Today is diddling along, and it's really, really interesting because we are zigzagging higher. Look at this. We basically opened unchanged, pushed a little bit lower, pushed higher, a little bit lower again, just made new session highs in the S&P 500, going lower again. So overall, it seems that we are on an upward trajectory. But we see the Dow pretty much unchanged right now, down 0.07%. The S&P up 0.2%. And the NASDAQ probably still led by NVIDIA and tech up 0.4%.
And the week's not over.
And the week is not over. And also, I mean, IWM, the Russell 2000 small caps, today, the strongest index up 1%. So today catching up a little bit because the Russell did not participate in yesterday's rally as much as the other indices. So yesterday, the Russell only up, 0.3%, while everything else was up more than 1%.
Okay, so yeah, some nice move there in the Russell. Although I wouldn't mind it to pull back a little bit so I could trade it after I get out of ON, which I don't think we talked about.
I'll do that tomorrow. Let's take a look at where we stand for the week. Right now, the Dow is up 1% for the week after looking really, really grim. The S&P is up 2.9% for the week. The NASDAQ, look at this, up 4.7% for the week. So the key question is, where will we end the week? So make sure that you tune in tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's show, give us a like. We really appreciate this. If you feel that this was information worth sharing, there's a share button right underneath. Just hit the share button. Share it wherever you want. You see a bunch of options there. And then you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. So with that, have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Happy trading, everybody.